me feeling like I'm academics.
He said fire Kid Cudi card. There's a few people who went on social media who said that. Not Kid Cudi. Who was it? Here we go.
One of the other allegations in the question is, could Diddy be under witness protection? I wonder if they're saying they want to build a case against someone bigger.
If it's the internet, Gene Deal, he will give an interview, and I think...
Yeah, Gene Deal said this, right? I'm wondering if Gene Deal will be some type of witness.
The allegations in their face.
Well, actually, no, Gene Deal wasn't around during this time. Like, who are the people who came out and said this? By the way, we're still waiting for this press conference outside the thing.
I always go back to the line.
Who was the people who said this, chat? Who told the story of the Kid Cudi thing? We know Cassie said it, right? Cassie said it, but they're saying multiple witnesses. So who else could have been the multiple witnesses?
Roger Bonds, a former
Roger Bonds said it, right? Didn't he?
Diddy security guard, claims Diddy beat Cassie after learning about her 2011 affair with Kid Cudi, which he discovered.
Yeah, Tiffany Red, thank you. Tiffany Red. Tiffany Red did say it, thank you. But Tiffany Red is the friend of Cassie. I know y'all saying Jaguar Wright, but they say witnesses. So we got to think about people who were actually around. No disrespect to Jaguar Wright. Tiffany Red was like Cassie's best friend. So she may have been a witness. Cassie's clearly a witness, right? Who else would have either, Diddy, I'm wondering if Lil Rod comes in here, because remember, they said that they have witnesses that will testify that Diddy bragged about it. So, Diddy was going off, and remember, Lil Rod has these videotapes of Diddy just in a room, just running his mouth. So maybe Diddy was like, man, y'all niggas gotta stop fucking with me. Yo, I get niggas. Yo, remember that one video of Diddy saying, like he was with a barber and he was saying, oh, niggas get killed, like something like that? Diddy barber video. Let me see. I remember the video right here? Where he was talking crazy shit. He was talking crazy shit. Like, he was like, yo, Diddy threatening. It was like haircut. Like, it was while he was getting a haircut, I remember. And I remember the barber just kind of watching, like, all right, brother. Y'all remember the video I'm talking about? He was talking crazy. Diddy. Y'all know the video I'm talking about? Diddy makes threats on video. Nigga said Fabulous booty hole is finally safe. Man, stop playing with Fabulous, man. Stop playing with FABOLOUS. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm talking about? Oh my God, I know that video, bro. Please, somebody help me find it. It was a video where like he's kind of sitting and like you could tell everybody kind of looking at him like, y'all know what video I'm like. He started just talking crazy like yo, niggas get fucked up. Hey, thank you for finding it. Yo, this shit was gonna drive me mad. I know I'm not crazy, bro. Got a memory of an elephant, bro. Thank you so much, dog. How do I get to this? It says, all I gotta type in is this. This was the clip. P. Diddy talking about throwing somebody out the window. Like, listen to this shit.
When I was, man, DJ, give me the thing, man. I'm loved now, y'all. So back in the day, somebody may got thrown out the window for that shit, but not no more. When I was,
he said back in the day, I would have threw a nigga out the window for that. God damn. Man. He said my name is Love now. I don't do that shit no more.
DJ, give me the thing, man. I'm loved now, y'all. So back in the day, somebody may got thrown out the window for that shit, but not no more.
Damn, Diddy was really running around here thinking he Pac. Holy shit.
crimes as part of what a criminal enterprise is. There is a section of this indictment that talks about the means and the methods of the enterprise, and I want your reaction to it. This is where they talk about the freak-offs, right? These really disgusting sexual sessions. Freak-offs were elaborate and produced sex performances that Combs arranged, directed, I'm not even getting electronically recorded. In arranging these freak-offs, Combs, with the assistance of members and associates of the Combs enterprise, transported and caused to be transported commercial sex workers across state lines and internationally. This is why you get to the sex trafficking. Freak-offs occurred regularly, sometimes lasted multiple days, often involved multiple sex workers, and the allegation was he would force women to have group sex with male, sometimes male sex workers. And during freak-offs, Combs distributed a variety of controlled substances to victims, in part to keep the victims obedient and compliant. Sometimes, unbeknownst to the victims, Combs kept videos he filmed of victims engaging in sex acts with commercial sex workers. After freak-offs, Combs and the victims typically received IV fluids to recover from the physical exertion and drug use. And then it says this part, that, they talk about how he had help, that members and associates of the Combs enterprise, including high-ranking supervisors, security staff, household staff, personal assistants, and other Combs business employees, facilitated the freak-offs by, among other things, booking the hotel rooms, stocking the hotel rooms, including with controlled substances, baby oil, lubricant, extra linens, lighting, cleaning the hotel rooms after the freak-offs. It's really disgusting stuff.
Well, it is. And what you see here is the extreme level of predatory behavior, right? This is the extreme of what we see in our investigations, our takedown investigations on True Blue with, predators who come into our stings. This guy is the ultimate groomer, according to this indictment, allegedly.
Wait, is True Blue like Blue True? Hell no.
All these allegations are true. He set it up. He had a fantasy. He couldn't resist this fantasy. He had to fulfill it. And he had the means and the contacts, the power and the money, the access to pull all this together. Now, here's a guy who's a mega music producer. A lot of people depend on him for their celebrity, their success, everything else. So he holds a lot of this power over their heads. Then you introduce the alcohol, the drugs, the notion that if you go along with this, you're going to be someone. The notion that this is just part of this out there extreme lifestyle that we have in this business. And it became acceptable in his mind. And so the fantasy becomes reality. And then you have this major event that is likely videotaped. So the predator, being Combs in this case, can relive it and show it and brag about it and experience it over and over again. It is so typical of a predator.
Now, look, these are very disturbing allegations.
Okay. I got another part. Again, obviously my voice is a little bit limited here because we would just read every single word of every single thing, but especially since we're still at the top of the broadcast, I want to get to the most interesting things that's at the top of our list. So I'm kind of like parsing. Anytime I play a video, I'm looking through some shit to read you some more interesting shit. Page 10 of the detention letter shows how they said Diddy allegedly went to try to, right after the Cassie thing, they said he was making mad calls to other women because he knew basically the house was coming down. For example, let me start reading here. Okay, so this is the Cassie thing here. More recently, the defendant has directly or through intermediaries, engaged in obstructed conduct related to the matters under investigation in this case. Specifically, following the November 2023 lawsuit, that's Cassie lawsuit, the defendants and intermediaries acted on his behalf, reached out to potential victims and witnesses to the alleged conduct, including individuals he did not speak to regularly and had not spoken to in years, to attempt to feed those victims and witnesses false narratives about the defendant's criminal conduct. With respect to at least two of these individuals, the defendant's co-conspirators assisted in efforts to protect the defendant. For example, on or about November 19th, just 3 days after the filing of the lawsuit, so Cassie lawsuit, so that's after he settled, because he settled basically, pretty much he settled by Friday, right? And it was filed like on a Friday. The defendant made multiple calls to another victim of his sexual abuse and recorded certain of those calls using a cell phone of a co-conspirator. Ooh, who's that co-conspirator that was trying to help him cover shit up? I wonder if this woman is going to be called the co-conspirator. You know, as people keep saying, the real Ghislaine Maxwell, they're accusing this woman. I know I'm putting her name up here, and I'm not trying to disparage her, but they're saying that this is like an assistant, like his chief of staff, Diddy Quorum. Okay, this person here. They believe this woman here that you seen right here was supposedly the woman who is like was trying to help, you know, make sure things were on the up and up. So, you know, they kind of describe her as Diddy right-hand woman, and potentially she would be the person to do some of the things to try to cover. Look, he's in the fetal position. She's sending out a text trying to make shit, you know what I mean, okay. And it's always good when like either your personal assistant or your chief of staff, you know what I mean, is in a bathrobe at your crib. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but yeah, maybe this is the person who was helping Diddy, right? Anyway, so multiple calls was made to another victim using a cell phone of a co-conspirator. During the calls, the defendant, and I'm wondering if this means the phone calls were tapped. That's also very interesting to know. We're not going to know these things at this moment, but clearly, you know, actually it wasn't tapped because they said it was being recorded. So it was being recorded on that person's phone, right? And so during the calls, the defendant repeatedly asked for the victim's support and friendship and attempted to convince the victims that she had willingly engaged in acts constituting sexual abuse. The defendants also assured the victim that if she needed the defendant to, she ain't got to worry about nothing else. A thinly veiled attempt to coerce the victim into adopting and supporting the defendant's false version of the events to protect the defendant. Basically saying, yo, I'm going to take care of you if you hold me down. You know what I mean? That's what essentially he was doing, right? Even more concerning, since learning about the criminal investigation, so by the way, at that point, he didn't know about the criminal investigation. That was only a civil suit. Said, since learning about the criminal investigation, including following the execution of the search warrant, Combs contacted other witnesses on multiple occasions, including witnesses who had received grand jury subpoenas. Oh, wow. Yeah, this is... fuck. His recent conduct is similar to that in United States versus LaFontaine, in which the Second Circuit affirmed the district court's revocation of pretrial release after the defendant in that case engaged in witness tampering. Now, granted, his lawyers are going to have something to say to this, basically saying, well, Diddy didn't know these people were witnesses, and in his opinion, these people aren't victims. So witness tampering is I would believe, and obviously I'm just not a lawyer, but still, that would assume he has some knowledge that these people are witnesses or potential witnesses, and maybe they could somehow explain to say, nah, he was just reaching out to friends, right? Whatever, anyway. Specifically, the defendant who was charged with multiple counts of fraud in connection with the providing false claims to medical insurers called a witness to remind the witness that the particular patient had received surgeries that the patient had not received, in fact received. The Second Circuit affirmed the district that the patient, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. All right. So they're saying based on another case, Diddy has done worse. He's hitting up people who got subpoenaed. What's not clear is if he knew they got subpoenaed and was trying to like, yo, remember, if they do ask you about the freak off we had at the W, just remember you was the one who said, yo, if I got you 3 bottles of Ciroc, 15 bottles of baby oil, and two long dick niggas that were gigolos, you said you were down. Remember, that was your idea, girl. Just trying to make sure you know what it is. Who knows what the fuck he was probably saying, but I'm just making that up, right? Okay. Wow, interesting. Okay. Oh, here we go. The government is aware through electronic evidence, toll records, conversations with witnesses, and other evidences that the defendant has contacted witnesses, including subpoenaed witness, prior to the dates on which the witness were to appear before a grand jury. In addition, the defendant has recorded calls with at least one victim and provided, either directly or through intermediaries, false narrative of events that transpired so that the witnesses would adopt that false testimony. Moreover, the defendant's obstructive conduct is made even more alarming by the manner in which he carried it out to evade detection. In some instances, by having intermediary make calls on his behalf and recording certain calls on another individual's device. These deliberate actions show that the defendant was aware that he was doing was obstructive and that his aim was to evade detection. Even the most stringent conditions, including monitoring of a court-authorized electronic device, would fail to ensure that the defendant would not engage in this kind of obstruction from his home. So they're saying, fuck house arrest, keep his ass in jail, including by acting through intermediaries and using other devices. Given his history of obstruction as well as violent nature of the charges, the defendant cannot overcome the presumption that no condition or combination of condition can ensure the safety of the community. Wow. Still waiting on this, chat. Still waiting. No update yet.
Bradford, that's clear. How do you defend?
Okay. Oh.
This. So if you can, again, I said this before, there are eerie similarities between this and the R. Kelly indictment, which was also out in New York. It was also a federal case. There was racketeering charges. There was sex trafficking charges. How does one defend this in front of a jury?
So there's a couple different ways. Number one is because of the other individuals that were involved, I'm sure you're going to have multiple flipping witnesses. The government generally, approaches these individuals. They say, hey, listen, you can either be on, the defendant's side of the case, which we'll be more than happy to add you to this racketeering charge, or you can be on the state side or government side of the case, and we would give you immunity for X, Y, Z. Why you saw different things coming about Cassie and like that video that was leaked, and I said this at the time, the video was being leaked. My belief is that the video was being leaked to show that Cassie was a victim and should not be a defendant in the case. I'm sure Cassie was, according to reports, according to other individuals that have talked about it, and according to individuals that I've spoken to, Cassie engaged in some of these allegations that are going to be going on against Sean Combs. So because of that, and they know that was going to come out, I think they wanted to make sure that she was labeled as a victim and not as a co-conspirator, because I think very easily a lot of individuals could be co-conspirators with Diddy. My understanding is that there was a lot of individuals that were involved. And I think by looking at the indictment and seeing that only Sean Combs is the only defendant currently, who knows if that increases and it gets superseded with a different indictment. But currently there's only one defendant. My guess is that all of those individuals that could have been co-defendants or could have been co-conspirators or could have been involved in a RICO case have flipped on Sean Combs, and they're getting some sort of immunity. You find it.
Wow, we just talked about that. I said this is a racketeering fucking case. There's only one person, but I was saying maybe a superseding, right? And you hear Bradford Cohen say this.
Is the only defendant currently. Who knows if that increases and it gets superseded with a different indictment. But currently there's only one defendant. My guess is that all of those individuals that could have been co-defendants or could have been co-conspirators or could have been involved in a RICO case have flipped on Sean Combs, and they're getting some sort of immunity. You find it's usually very unusual to have a RICO case with one individual as a defendant.
I was curious.
Interesting. By the way, I'm also getting told I might be incorrect here. This is the indictment. We didn't go through it completely yet, but apparently there is mention of children. And I can't hit the search button there. Variety just ran an article. Variety.com. They ran an article basically saying children. It says, wait, hold on. According to their tweet, they have a tweet out. Let me just go to the tweet, and then I'll find it from there. Again, we're going to read this for ourselves, but wait, is my computer freezing up? Come on now. Variety. Here we go, Chad. This is the, wait. Yeah, we're going to find it in a second. Give me a second. We're going to get to it. By the way, Kevin Lyles just left Warner Music Group. I think it's a cash out option, I think. But today's not the day we'll get to that, really. I got to talk about a whole lot of shit going on at Atlantic, a lot of moving parts. Music industry drama, there's a lot of shit going on there. I got to spend like 2 hours on that. Just not important right now. Okay, look. It says Sean Diddy Combs has been charged with 3 counts for racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking of children. You see? Children by force. Wow. I didn't see the children part, but let me look at their article and then see if I can find it in the original. Children. It doesn't say. Hopefully this indictment is searchable. Yeah, I think it is. No, it isn't. No, they just scanned this in. Let me scan through this real quickly. Actually, I'll do it on the screen below, just like usual. I hate wasting our time, so let me just play a little bit more of this. I'm going to find what aspects they mention children, okay?
Because you're right, he's the only one charged, and you're seeing that he allegedly had a lot of coordination and cooperation. I want to read you something here, Chris. So this is now from that letter that I mentioned from the government to the judge requesting that no bail be issued. And they talk about how he's violent. They said, in addition to the defendant's physical, sexual, and emotional abuse of his romantic partners, the defendant repeatedly engaged in acts of violence directed towards the employees and others. As charged in the indictment, the defendant, often assisted by members and associates of the enterprise, engaged in kidnapping, arson, physical violence such as throwing objects at people, throwing people to the ground, hitting, dragging, choking. Numerous witnesses, including the defendant's employees and others, observed or experienced violence. For example, in the early morning hours of December 22nd, 2011, the defendant and a co-conspirator kidnapped an individual at gunpoint to facilitate breaking into and entering the residence of another, individual 1. Multiple witnesses would testify at trial to the events surrounding the kidnapping and break-in, the latter of which is corroborated by police reports.
Once again, Kid
Cudi.
This is a Kid Cudi.
Approximately 2 weeks later, the defendant's co-conspirators set fire to individual 1's vehicle by slicing open the car's convertible top and dropping a Molotov cocktail inside the interior. Police and fire department reports extensively document the arson and conclude that the fire was intentionally set. Multiple witnesses would also testify to the defendant bragging about his role in destroying individual 1's car. I think that this is Kid Cudi.
Yeah.
So if we go back to the Cassandra Ventura lawsuit, she made an allegation that Diddy blew up his car because she was talking to him or whatever it was. When you hear this is a whole separate component of this case as well.
Well, it goes to the power, the enforcement, the thought that you are too big to be busted. You get away with things enough times in your life at this level, you think you're invincible. And you're not, because at some point, people are going to see the Cassie video. They're going to see the brutality of it. This wasn't an argument or just a domestic violence case in a hotel lobby. This was an all-out ass-whooping of an innocent, vulnerable woman. And he did not give up. And that video, although that the case is probably beyond the statute of limitations in terms of charging a crime, that was significant for the reasons Bradford said, and in the back of the minds of the federal investigators, because they're thinking, we can't let this guy get away with this. Mm-hmm. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. You talk about the allegations in the indictment. You're talking about arson, kidnapping. This can't be allowed in society, no matter who you are. And there are a lot of allegations here. And I think going back to him making himself available into New York, knowing this was coming, clearly that's an attempt to bargain for his short-term freedom as this case works through the court system. But it's going to be very tough when the judge takes a look at this and sees the potential danger, the potential witness tampering, the things that have already happened. What, suddenly he's going to change? It's going to be a tough argument for his lawyers.
And it says that the government's investigation is ongoing in this letter. While the indictment against the defendant was unsealed today, the investigation into his and other co-conspirators' conduct is active and ongoing.
And you have to wonder how many of these events were somehow videotaped or captured to show other people, to encourage this notion that, if you cross me, this is what's going to happen to you. And it doesn't matter how big you think you are, I'm bigger and I'll crush you. Mm-hmm. So, was some of that taken from one of the raids?
So now I'm curious, Bradford, if I before once we knew that he was arrested last night and we knew this indictment was coming, I went back and I looked at all of the lawsuits. I looked at all of the lawsuits that he's facing, from April Lampros, to Rodney Jones, to even the Cassandra Ventura one that was settled, to Dawn Richard. There's the Grace O'Markey one that lists him as a defendant, but his son is the one who's the main defendant. There's Joy Dickerson-Neal. Do you have a sense from reading these papers, these indictment, this letter, how much of these witnesses, their accounts, are made up in the criminal charges? How much of they are cooperating witnesses? How much are their accounts part of these criminal charges? Do you have a sense of that?
I think that, yeah, I mean, when I read some of these lawsuits, some of them I think are so fantastical that I don't think they would make great witnesses. I think Cassie's is the most credible. In terms of looking at the other lawsuits, I think that those witnesses can provide some backup and some confirmation of some allegations, but I don't think they're going to be the star witness. I think there's probably going to be 5 main core witnesses, and those are going to be the 5 individuals that were closest to Sean Combs. I'm sure they have subpoenaed assistants or personal assistants.
Yeah, chat, I ain't gonna lie. This does look incredibly horrible for Diddy. I mean, again, this is the indictment. You know, obviously they spell out his. I mean, I guess we could kind of go through it. Let's go through it. Once again, this is the 14-page indictment. This is the first document. I'm actually, let me look it up to see if it's fully in the system as yet. Diddy hasn't appeared in court from what I've been told. I do believe that his attorney, after the court hearing, I think that's what that's for. It said this afternoon. We don't know what time. But if you're wondering what this is for, this is most likely for after the attorney is walking into court and out of court, that they could possibly have a press conference. I don't know if Diddy's attorney will address the press again. I don't even think it was a need for him to address the press this morning. Again, let your PR people do the PR shit. Let the lawyer go beat the case. But regardless, they've set this up. You know, Diddy's set to appear in court later. He's currently in custody, so you won't see him walk through these doors or walk out most likely. And we're going to hear some updates about, hey, was there consideration for bail given? Did the judge say, hey, we're going to grant bail? Or will it be a motion to remand? Or not motion, but it will be the judge remand him into custody for the foreseeable future, which, you know, at that point, you know, who knows the next, you know, shot they'll have to try to get bail. Obviously, that's probably one of his biggest priority. Like, a billionaire in jail is probably not used to that lifestyle. You don't get $1 billion to go sit in jail, right? So his lawyers at every turn, even if he's denied bail today, they're going to try to get him, you know, additional opportunities to apply for bail, and hopefully, you know, in their case, they could get him out on some type of bail, whether it's house. You know, we all seen Youngboy. Youngboy was in like a $10 million crib, you know, with an armed militia around there 24/7, but at least you're in a mansion. You know what I mean? You'd rather be in a $10 million crib rather than being some New York City rat hole jail, right? You know what I mean? You don't want to be bunkies with Taxstone. You get what I'm saying? So, of course, we're going to see what happens there. Let me see. I actually don't think it's going to be still in the system yet. I'm searching it right now. Because we're going to see a bunch of documents fly off, including what's going to be important is, you know, maybe if there is a premeditated motion for pretrial release, maybe that's also submitted, but that might be just, you know, submitted after court, even though I think they would want to have him have the judge consider it in court today. Give me 1 second. I'm looking some shit up right here. Because right now we only have 2 documents, the indictment and the detention memo, which is both from the prosecutor. Give me 1 second. Yeah, and I still don't see it in here yet. It's probably going to take some while. They'll probably officially file it. The clerk will file it to the government website after the court hearing is done. But regardless, we don't know what time. Let me see if I can Google and figure out what time Diddy is scheduled to appear in court. We don't know what time, though. What time? Don't know what time, but apparently it's supposed to be in the afternoon. Here we go. Diddy's gonna appear in court at 2:30 p.m. From what I'm hearing, I've talked to a few people who are like, legal experts. They think it's gonna be quick. They think they're gonna have him in there and out. Probably 30-minute hearing. There will be no video. This is federal court, so we're not gonna see no video of it. Obviously, there's gonna be reporters in there. So I'm pretty sure somebody's gonna be in there trying to get a drawing of Diddy. I'm guessing he would probably be in cuffs, even though I still can't even imagine Diddy in cuffs. But they're gonna come out with a description of his demeanor, the proceedings, and obviously we're gonna see the documents fly off afterwards with the results of that. But 2:30 today, which means it's about another hour and 15 minutes until Diddy goes to court or Diddy sees that judge. Again, his indictment was unsealed, which means that his lawyers know what charges he has. They're going to be read to him at his first appearance. They're going to apparently try to get bond, but there's already a memo filed to heavily oppose bond. Like this is a pretty, again, the memo to oppose bond is 16 pages. The indictment is 14 pages. You get what I'm saying? This is the memo to oppose bond. This is the indictment, right? Okay. I'm going to play a little bit more of this, and then, we're going to... Oh, no, this is what I wanted to get to. This is how disgusting they kind of set the shit up in terms of when they start describing the freak off. Keep in mind, I've never heard Diddy say the word freak off, but God damn it, it's such like a disgusting thing, even when you think about it now. Here we go. They're going to describe a freak off. Here we go. Okay. Here we go. Among the means and methods by which Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, PD Love, the defendant and other members of the associates of Combs Enterprise conducted and participated in the conduct and affairs include the following, right? They wielded the power and prestige of Combs' role at his businesses to intimidate, threaten, lure females into Combs' orbit, often under the pretense of a romantic relationship. He then used force, threats of force, coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sex acts. Now, this is the disgusting part. Extended sex acts. You're going to hear them describe that the freak-offs sometimes lasted days. I'm like, yo, what type of level of horny that you got to fuck for 3 days straight? Like, this is some new shit, brother. Okay, so freak-offs were elaborate and produced sex performances that Combs arranged, directed, masturbated during, and often electronically recorded. In a range of these freak-offs, Combs, with the assistance of members and associates of his enterprise, transported and caused to be transported commercial sex workers across state lines and internationally. Damn, even was bringing in bitches overseas. God damn. Freak-offs occurred regularly, sometimes lasted multiple days. I see why this nigga need 1,000 bottles of lube. Because if, nigga, you must have found Aqua Woman if she could stay wet for fucking 3 days. Like, what the fuck? No wonder he needed lube. Lasted multiple days and often involved multiple commercial sex workers. During the freak-offs, he distributed a variety of controlled substance to the victims, in part to keep them obedient and compliant. Sometimes unbeknownst to the victims, they kept videos he filmed of victims engaging in sex acts. Oh my God. Members and associates of Combs Enterprise, including high-ranking supervisors, security staff, household staff, personal assistants, and other Combs business employees, facilitated freak-offs by, among other things, booking hotel for the freak-off, stocking hotel rooms in advance with lube, and freak-off supplies, including controlled substances, baby oil, lubricant, extra linens, and lighting, cleaning the hotel rooms. Oh my God. Yo, chat, how much would you need to get paid if you work for Combs Enterprise and your job is to clean up after the freak off? You're running into all type of fluid. You see something that's like gooey, it could be semen. Between 50 niggas semen, because apparently it was mad niggas in this shit. You don't know what type of semen that was. Vaginal discharge, saliva, lube. God damn it. Yo, whose job it is to... Yo, I could see why Fonzworth Bentley said, I'm getting the fuck on out of here. It looked good when Fonzworth Bentley was just holding the fucking umbrella. Imagine, it'd be like, all right, nigga, ain't no fucking rain going on in here, nigga. The only thing raining down is semen. Nigga, clean up after this goddamn freak off. Scrub all the cum off the wall. All the ejaculation stains. Yo, I kid you not, man. If I was the feds and I raided Diddy's cribs, the first thing I'm scouring the crib through is with a, what's it called? A black light? You know the light they used to, y'all remember the show? Raid My Room? Room Raiders, black light. And they'd be like, yo, that's the cum stain. That's the cum stain right there. That's the cum stain right there. Yeah. Imagine when they do this at Diddy's mansion.
Y'all remember that show, Room Raiders? Well, it's time to do the bed check.
Yes. Oh my God, you do this at Diddy's mansion, it's over. It's fucking over.
My own bed. Alright, so we have the
nigga, just go
bed here. Do it to myself and see some hairs. See some hairs. Pillows clean.
Nah, on shit. Diddy's house is gonna be diabolical. How much you think the nigga who's cleaning up the lube, baby oil, vaginal discharge, semen is getting paid? It's gotta be a good gig, right? Like, you gotta get 6 figures for that, right? I'm not saying I would do that shit, but I'm just saying. If that was a job you had to do, like, how much I would want to get paid for that? You walk into the room, that shit smell like Badussy. Diddy was just getting his ass eaten by some dude, some buff Negro. Cassie was just in a bukkake. Some other little chick was having a mukbang with just mad random assortment of semen. Piss. Remember, this is P. Diddy. P. I want to pee on you. Drip, all of that. You're cleaning pee, maybe some fecal matter. The only thing you won't find, no condoms. No fucking condoms. Ain't that a bitch? You know this shit gotta be nasty. They found 1,000 bottles of lube, not one condom. You woke up in Diddy's freak off room, it's like a slip and slide up in that bitch. Oh my God. It's a slip and slide. Nigga, you show up to clean up after the freak off. You know who you gonna sound like? You gonna sound like this.
One nigga got that nigga up out of there. Thank God. Yeah, I had to fight some nigga in the bathroom. No homo. We slipping on semen.
Y'all slipping on semen. You gotta be slipping on semen when you enter the freak off room and this nigga's all lube. It's lube everywhere. You slipping on semen at the scene of cleaning up the freak off.
But niggas was jerking off in the bathroom, nigga. Yeah. I mean,
Diddy jerking off in the corner.
Had to fight some nigga in the bathroom. No homo. We slipping on semen. But niggas was jerking off in the bathroom, nigga. Yeah. I mean, I got that nigga up out of there. All that shit. You know, this is parts of the story that I don't like.
Yo, I know this ain't funny. We got victims here, people. We got to stop the laughing. Fucked up shit. Fucked up shit. Okay. Combs to and from freak offs resupplying. Oh my God. Imagine you had to be the person to go bring some extra lube in the room while Diddy and 10 other niggas and Cassie are having a freak off. Resupplying Combs with requested supplies. Delivering large stacks or sums of cash to Combs to pay the sex workers. And then, yo, this is when I realized, nigga, how much fucking you gotta be doing that you fucking for days. If your fuck session lasts days, god damn it. Nigga, even in the jungle, Nigga, you know they say the lion, when the lion has sex, it only lasts a minute. It takes the lion a minute to nut. The most fucking powerful creature in the jungle. But for Diddy, it was taking him days? What type of deranged nigga is this? What type of edging was he doing? Chat, keep it a bean. When y'all niggas have, like, and I know, no homo, you feel me? But how long is the longest y'all even jacked? All right, say you open a Pornhub. You ain't got no bitch around. You open a Pornhub. You rubbing one out. You know what I mean? We all do it. Come on, let's not act like, what's the longest you jacked off for? Imagine Diddy is jacking off to this shit for days. I see why this nigga need lubricant and baby oil. Nigga, you will chafe your dick. Nigga, at some point, your palm gotta feel like sandpaper. What the fuck? This nigga was jacking off for days. Nah, if you jerk off the Pornhub for an hour, something wrong with you, bro. Something wrong with you. An hour? An hour is a lot. 3 hours? You're wildin'. You niggas jerked off for 3 hours to Pornhub? I'm sending U.S. attorney to y'all house next. Who said 3 hours? Nah, 5 minutes too short. Like maybe between 10 and 30. You know what I mean? 10 and 30. Now, we're not counting the parts where, like, you're on the 89th page looking for the right porno. Like, that's how it works. Like, you're on the 89th, like, you're like, next. That's cool. We're talking about jerk-off time. But fuck all that. Even if you went 3 hours, Diddy's going 3 days. In or about March 24, during the search of his cribs in Miami, Florida, Los Angeles, California, they seized freak-off supplies, including narcotics and 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. Oh, my God. This is... Now, here's the thing, too. Doesn't make it any better that we've seen Diddy with this IV fluid shit. Remember during the pandemic, I used to see that nigga have the IV thing. Did Diddy get these videos scrubbed from the internet, bro? Diddy IV recovery. There's some videos of him with IV in, bro. It was like during pandemic times. I spelled pandemic wrong. I've never took that IV shit, but now I'm associating the IV shit to freak off shit. Somebody was trying to say, yo, Ak, you be drinking a lot. You know what you should do? In the morning, just get an IV. It just replenishes you. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I mean, I'm drinking, but I ain't drinking that hard, bro. Like, what type of shit you got to be doing to stick a needle and just have to pump fluids into yourself? Apparently, this was a post, nigga, this was his post freak off ritual. Let me see if I can find it. Diddy IV fluids. Let's see if we can find it. I know I've seen it before. Definitely seen it before. Back in the day. Nah, Diddy might have had some people scrub some shit. I can't find this bitch. Oh, here we go. Look. Right here. Thank you, Diddy. What the fuck is this? This is the drip bar? The fuck is the drip bar? The hell? This was during 2021. Yeah, this was oh yeah, this was after a freak off. Yeah, that was after a freak off. Facts. Let me see. Diddy drip bar. I'm trying to see. I can't find it right now. I'll file later. It's all good. What's this though?
Let's go ahead and
we listened to that already.
And we say
not being off the table.
Here we go.
Charges racketeering, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. He called what Sean Diddy Combs organized a business empire that he said he controlled using kidnapping, bribery, saying that he exploited people, used force, threats. And when you really understand where all of this comes from, you have to go back to the lawsuit, that civil lawsuit that was fired by Combs's longtime ex-girlfriend. Mr. Williams mentioned that video that would later show up after he settled with her in that civil case when she was claiming that he sexually assaulted her and beat her. And then we saw evidence of that months later in a 2016 video in a hotel where she is hit, kicked, and dragged. Those were the exact words that he used in this criminal case. Something else worth noting, Lindsay, is what he talked about when referencing what they were able to find when searching the home. He said that they searched and seized evidence, 3 defaced AR-15s, evidence of freak-offs. Again, this was a term used in the civil suit, but now talking about it in the criminal form. He said also that this is not done, that there could be more people that are prosecuted as a result of this. But today, of course, the focus being on Sean Diddy Combs.
And Jerika, many reporters were quick to ask whether any more charges could be coming because this indictment says that he did not do this alone. He was essentially enabled by the people around him, the apparatus that he built, according to prosecutors, as part of this criminal enterprise, again, according to the indictment, that essentially enabled this behavior and led to a pattern of coercion and intimidation.
Yeah, I mean, he said it again by saying we are not done. He even gave a phone number for people to call if they have any tips, because this is an ongoing investigation, as he said a couple of times. He also talked about other charges not being off the table. One of the first questions, though, I think that many people have had, this is someone who's been so well known, a business entrepreneur, a mogul, for 30 years. And the question was, why did this take so long, and are there any other victims? He would not specify about how many victims there are allegedly, only to say that there's multiple based on that indictment. When it comes to why it took so long, he said the better focus should be that we are here today.
I mean, that is the question. He just got the key to New York City in 2023. He was asked to give it back. He did give it back, and yet here we are. Prosecutors saying that this behavior went on for decades. Jerika, we are expecting to learn more from this detention document that Williams kept mentioning, that they will be trying to seek pre-trial detention. What do we know about what that document will contain and when we might get it?
So we're working on getting that document right now. What I can tell you is that we're hearing that Combs is expected to appear in court now just after 2:30 this afternoon. So we're, of course, going to keep a close eye on that. As for the pretrial detention, essentially Williams is saying we want him to remain behind bars. We'll look at that document and get back to you in terms of the reasons. But they obviously feel that he's a threat to the public. When asked about his cooperation, he also mentioned that he said the word cooperating has taken on tremendous elasticity and that responding to the law in their eyes is not necessarily cooperating with authorities. So we know that he's going to be in custody, but we do know that they're not going to get into, at least Damian Williams saying, they're not going to get into the why and when they took him into custody the way that they did as far as that investigation is concerned. But a lot came out of this. Also, I thought worth mentioning, having covered R. Kelly several times in both trials, he said that he was not going to compare or sort of contrast the two. But we.
By the way, there is a proposed bail package. I'm looking to get that for you immediately. Give me 1 second. Let me keep playing this. I'm going to pull it up in a second. So there's a proposed bail package.
Do know that Homeland Security Investigations is the same group that really took on a bulk of the responsibility when it came to R. Kelly. Same group, again, looking at these charges that are also similar in nature when you think about sexual assault and sex trafficking.
Jerika Duncan, thank you so much. We'll see you at the top of the hour. And joining me right now is celebrity attorney Chris Melcher. Chris, obviously, we just heard that press conference. We were talking to you on the front end. Did not think that the U.S. attorney was going to get as graphic as he did because this is so disturbing, but he did. The nature of the allegations are disturbing. Your thoughts after that press conference?
Well, they certainly took their time, and that was a very well-crafted press conference where they were laying out a little bit more detail than we saw in the charging document. And I do have that detention letter. So that's a letter to the judge saying that Diddy should, or Mr. Combs should remain in custody pending trial. So that's pretty unusual. Many times somebody's going to be released on a bond. His attorney, according to that detention letter, had offered a $50 million bond to secure Mr. Combs' attendance at trial and also electronic monitoring. The government's saying that's not sufficient. That's not enough money to really dissuade Diddy from fleeing. And more importantly, it's alleged that he is a danger to the community, that he could dissuade witnesses from testifying. So what they're asking is that he be held in custody. He's in custody right now, and they don't want him released. The judge will have to decide that, or magistrate, I should say, will decide that later today. But these the conduct is depraved, multiple victims. And what is most significant to me is that these events were allegedly recorded, and the government has those recordings. That's going to make it extremely difficult if...
Okay, I'll get back to what that gentleman is saying. Let me read through this, which is important. So this is what the government detention letter was trying to counteract. Okay, so this is a letter from the lawyer, Agnifilio Intrater, which that might be another lawyer, or it might be a joint law firm. Anyway, it says, Dear Judge Tafornsky, Mr. Sean Combs, through his counsel, submits this letter to the court for release on certain specific or specified conditions. Yesterday evening, he was arrested on an indictment charging him with the following offenses. For these reasons set forth below, we ask this court to release Mr. Combs pursuant to our proposed bail package. This letter will walk the court through a series of actions taken by Mr. Combs over the past 6 months that will prove he's not a flight risk or a danger to anyone in the community. These actions will prove that Mr. Combs is eminently trustworthy, that he's demonstrably committed to showing his innocence in court in the context of this case, and that he should be released on the condition proposed in order to do so. The first thing the court should know is that when it became apparent to his counsel that Mr. Combs would be at some point formally charged, he did something extraordinary. Oh, wow. It's extraordinary. Let's hear the extraordinary thing. He left his home in Miami and traveled to New York, the very location of where the prosecutors and agents were investigating him. Through counsel, Mr. Combs promptly told the government that he had voluntarily come to New York, offered to tell them specifically where he was, and offered to turn himself in at an appropriate time. Even though Mr. Combs came to New York, authorized his lawyers to tell the government of his location, and offered to self-surrender, the government effected an arrest last evening. This, we know, is the government's right. However, that he traveled to New York to self-surrender is also something the court should consider. This was not the first action Mr. Combs took to show his trustworthiness and lack of flight risk. Indeed, it is part of his pattern since even before the March 25th, 2024 searches on his residence. Mr. Combs and his counsel have been fully aware that the United States attorney for the Southern District of New York has been conducting an investigation involving allegations concerning racketeering, sex trafficking, and other offenses, knowing for these many months that he would be indicted. Oh, wow. So basically, they're admitting that he knew he would be indicted. Wow. Damn. Mr. Combs has done everything, as will be set out below, to work with prosecutors in ways that are unusual, if not unprecedented. Okay. In light of these circumstances, he can rebut presumption of detention here due to his extraordinary actions taken in this investigation. He should be released on the conditions proposed so that he can fight the case in court effectively. By the way, let me see. Okay. All right. So we'll get to the extraordinary actions he took, but this is the proposed package. A $50 million bond, which clearly makes sense now. He was clearly liquidating some assets. One of the main things, securing a cash bond or a potential part of a cash bond, or being able to free up assets that he could possibly put up, right? They don't mention if the $50 million would be in a cash bond or maybe he could use a property or something of the sort. But yeah, $50 million bond, co-signed by Sean Combs' mother, his sister, the mother of his oldest daughter, and his 3 adult sons. Okay. Okay, so I guess it's a bond co-signed by them. Secured by the equity of Mr. Combs' residence located at 2 West Star Island in Miami, Florida. The appraised value of the home is about $48 million. The home is unencumbered. In anticipation of the bail hearing on August 20th, 2024, he paid off the mortgage. Oh, wow. He paid off the mortgage, which is $18 million. Wow. So now he finally owns the house outright. And that's just sitting, equities in the value of the house. But there isn't a lien on the house, meaning a mortgage, that a mortgage company would control some interest in the house. So basically saying, yo, I'll give y'all, I'll put the title up, right? Like, shit, if I flee, that's $48 million. So that home could be used to secure a bond and be free of a mortgage. Cool. Secured by the equity of Combs' mother's house. Wow, they gave her, well, yeah. I wish this was blurred out, but this is where his mom lives. Mr. Combs' travel will be restricted to the Southern District of Florida and the Southern District of New York to attend court and meet with his counsel and attend medical appointments, which we will address the court in a separate sealed submission. Yes, they're probably going to do a sealed submission saying that Diddy is suffering from, again, you got to make this look good. He's suffering from some illness that cannot be cured if he's in a detention facility. He needs to be free. He needs to see the best specialist in the world. He needs to be able to go to his doctor's appointments every day, that he could be healthy, right? Typical. I think they did that with Harvey Weinstein as well. I mean, shit, they've been trying to do it with YNW Melly, saying he has some grave disease and he needs to be let out. And they keep saying, well, the niggas he allegedly killed can't get out of the casket, so you're not getting out. That's what they've told YNW Melly pretty much. Don't know if that they'll work, but clearly they're going to do a sealed submission that obviously the public don't know what that is, but the court or the judge could consider it. As well as the Eastern District of New York and the District of New Jersey, only to the extent that his travel from New York involves an airport in those districts. The airport in New York, as in Jersey, would mean that he would be flying via private jet. Teterboro Airport is a place that Jay-Z, Beyonce, anybody, when they come to New York, they land at Teterboro with their private jet. Okay, that's usually where Jay-Z used to rap about the Clearport. That's where that is, right? Teterboro, New Jersey. So he's trying to carve out places that I'll only be in Jersey to be at to be at the fucking Clearport. That my private jet can land there. I'm gonna go right to New York to go to court. I'm gonna be in Southern District of Florida, which is basically, he said he was gonna stay at Star. He's basically kind of outlining house arrest, but not saying house arrest, because his residence in Southern District of Florida is at 2 Star Island. You get what I'm saying? His passport, now we get to find out, his passport was surrendered to his counsel. So he gave his passport to his lawyers, and his lawyers advised the prosecutor of this fact in an email dated the same day, and the counsel is now saying, please take his passport. He ain't going nowhere. Take his passport. So interesting to note, they didn't turn over his passport then, but he did turn it over to his lawyers. Okay, cool. The passports of the following family members who have already surrendered their passport to counsel after the raids. Oh, wow. Whoa. They're saying they're down to surrender. Janice is his mom, I believe. Janice Combs. Chance Combs. Who's Chance Combs? Jesse Combs. Delilah Combs and Love Combs. I think this is the baby. Ain't this is the baby? Love Combs is the baby? Let's see. Love Combs. Yeah, I think that's the baby. Yeah, that's the new baby he had. Oh, wow. So he's down to even give up the baby passport. Like, yo, I'm not getting my family out of here. I'm not dipping out of here. You could have their passports, my passports. Take it all. Just, who's Chance Combs? I don't know who that is. Janice is his mom, I believe. Let me use this. Who's Chance Combs? Oh, that's his daughter. Okay. Jesse Combs, is that the other daughter? I don't know who Jesse Combs is. Who's Jesse Combs? Jesse Combs. Oh, it's Diddy. Yeah, Diddy's daughter. Yeah. Jesse James Combs. Okay, cool. So that's the mom, the two daughters. Who's Delilah Combs? Does the sons not have passports, or did they already surrender their passports? Because they're not mentioned. Delilah Combs. Oh, this is another daughter he has. Okay. Okay, Jesse and Delilah are twins. And then there's Chance Combs. Who's Chance Combs? Oh, she's not one of the twins. Oh, so there's a daughter that's not a twin. And the parents are Sarah Chapman and Diddy. Okay, cool. And then Love Combs. So basically, all of the women from the Combs family are here. By the way, we're gonna get down to exhibits. The exhibits are gonna show the appraisals. Is the exhibits attached? No, but there are exhibits supposedly. Look, the written appraisal. So the appraisal that property is worth $48 million is Exhibit 1. The satisfactory of the mortgage, which means he paid it off, is Exhibit 2. And the letter to the prosecutor, as mentioned, that he offered his passport up, is Exhibit 3. Or he didn't offer his passport up. He said he has turned his passport over to counsel, right? Yeah, they emailed on the first saying that they turned the passport over to counsel. Cool. All right. H, since at least 2024, April, Mr. Combs has been making efforts to sell his airplane. Oh my God. Damn, shit is going down, bro. Damn. If y'all buy that plane, man, make sure y'all scrub the whole interior, black light and everything. If he was having freak offs on the ground, imagine what he was doing in the air, nigga. Trust me. He's been making efforts to sell his airplane. We informed the government of these efforts in May 2024 and explained further below. Just this weekend, Mr. Combs entered a letter of intent with the party to sell it. Oh, wow. Mr. Combs understands he is not to travel to Los Angeles, where the plane had been located this week. Oh, wow. He's been staying away from his own plane. I still think he's going to fly by private if they do give him this bail. But I guess he's trying to say, if you own a private jet, you probably have more leeway with what you could do with it. So he's like, nah, I'm gonna get rid of my private jet. I guess he probably just charter one. Oh, damn. And further, the plane is not to be brought into any district where okay. That's why we could look it up now. Love Air LLC. That's Diddy's plane jet. We can find the tail number. This is Diddy's plane right here. Yeah, Love Air. Yep. And what's the tail number? The tail number is where's the tail number? Tail number, come on. Why can't I find the fucking tail number? Am I slow? Is it N119? N11969C? I think this is it. I think this is Diddy's jet. Yeah. Diddy's jet. Yep. Yeah, FlightAware. Okay, cool. Yes, so it's owned by Diddy. Sorry, chat. I'm just like looking this shit up. Yeah. And yeah, that's registration history. Let's see if we can look where it's at. We could. This is how it looks. Beautiful jet still. Let's see if we could, we could track it. Tracker, flight radar, history of flights. Yeah, there's no recent flights. Yeah, that shit is parked. Holy shit. Okay, nah, this is. You look how they tracking Jay-Z's. Yeah, having a jet is just having people in your business. Look, they're tracking Jay-Z's jet. Oh man. Flight history. Okay, here we go. Department information. It looked like it is flying around somewhere, but at some point it was in LA. Yeah, that jet is moving, but apparently it was in LA for a while. Who's at my fucking door? Give me a second. All right. Anyway, let me play a little bit more of this.
For Diddy to defend himself if those recordings show coercion or violence.
Important point there. Chris, according to the indictment, law enforcement seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 AR-15s with defaced serial numbers and a drum magazine. How will that play in? We know as part of the allegations, they say that Combs regularly carried and even brandished weapons to create an atmosphere of intimidation.
Well, that is part of this allegation that these women unfortunately became part of his orbit.
Okay. Yeah, they're taking care of who's at the door. It's all good. Okay, perfect. Let me go back. Okay, so yeah, so I guess it was the time of that letter. You know, they're still saying, I guess, like ever since they wrote that letter to the prosecutors, they kept the jet away from wherever Diddy's at. So the jet's still moving, but you know, they kept like it was in Van Nuys. Yeah, it was in Van Nuys a bunch, right? San Jose. It was in LA. It was definitely in California for a while. And I guess they were saying they made sure that the jet wasn't anywhere where Diddy was at, that the police could think that Diddy has access to his jet. They're saying it's on the other side of the country. And they're saying they're down to keep it on the other side of the country or make sure the jet doesn't go anywhere where Diddy's at until it gets sold, which is, damn, I mean, my boy's definitely trying to make sure he's free, right? Okay, understand he's not to travel to LA where it's been located this week. Oh, this week. He said this week. Has it been located in LA this week? Well, it went to Indianapolis. Last week it was in Jersey, Teterboro. Then it went to Indianapolis. And I'm guessing it probably is in LA, right? This isn't all the way accurate. This is just some of the flights. Cool, all right, bet. Then, now they finally say home detention. Home detention. So they're down for home detention. They're not going to say what crib, but come on, you know he wants to be up in the Star Island crib, right? All other standard conditions of pretrial release, right? The history of investigation show a great degree of collaboration between the government, Mr. Combs, and his counsel, which should be weighed heavily in this court when thinking about releasing him on the conditions proposed. By the way, 30 minutes until Diddy goes to court. Once again, we're not going to have a live stream of that, but we expect to maybe hear a word or two from the lawyer as they enter or leave court, okay? On March 13th, counsel for Mr. Combs emailed the assigned assistant U.S. attorney in this introductory mail. Counsel identified himself as counsel for Combs and stated he wished to speak with the prosecutors and share information about Mr. Combs and the matters under investigation. After not hearing back, oh wow, at first AUSA didn't respond back. Counsel's again emailed 5 days later on March 18th. Counsel did not get a response. Oh yeah, they don't give a fuck about Diddy. So this 2 emails sent to the prosecutor, deaf ears. Third time, this is before the search. Wait, so why did they email before the search? Oh, it was being heard that there was an investigation. So I guess they just wanted to get ahead of it. This is before the search was done. March 25th, search warrants were executed at Mr. Combs' place of residence in Miami and LA. In addition, he was removed from his airplane and searched. The searches of his residence were unusually public and particularly heavy-handed. The agents had assault rifles trained on the heads and chests of his children, who were then handcuffed, brought before news cameras, in a press helicopter. On the day of the searches, counsel called prosecutor and they spoke for the very first time. Counsel indicated that they would accept service of 2 grand jury subpoena to Mr. Combs' businesses. Counsel took possession of Mr. Combs' passport on April 1st. About a week following the searches on April 1st, counsel took his passport. As noted on the same day, They advised the AUSA of the fact that counsel had Mr. Combs' passport and we would not return it to him, and that he would not be allowed to leave the country during the pendency of the investigation. We have, in fact, maintained passports, and Mr. Combs has not, in fact, left the country. Despite knowing the investigation was ongoing, despite having a plane at his disposal, despite not being charged with any crime. As of this morning, the plane is in Teterboro for a charter flight. As of this morning, it says four. Where is 4 is that? 4 is somewhere here. All right, here. Yeah. Okay. So the Teterboro thing was right. As of this, well, this is 9/12, so it's probably a return flight. Whatever. Cool. Council agreed to advise government on all domestic travel. Myron said this. Bradford Cohen said this. I agreed. Vlad, please stop saying the bullshit you've been saying. And I love you, Vlad. You know, you're a peer, colleague, and a friend of mine. But you've been saying that dumb shit like too long, saying Diddy should have fled the country. It's very clear they could have arrested this guy a long time ago. He surrendered his passport. He was telling the government everywhere where he was at because he was preparing for this moment. He was saying, I'm not going to be in the same city as my plane. He was never going to leave the country, and that was never an option. I don't even know why Vlad left. Vlad's the only person I've seen like say this shit. Like, I don't know why you didn't go to Russia. Like, what the fuck is Vlad talking about? And I love you, Vlad, you know, but come on, bro. Like, you know, you're too smart to be saying this type of nonsense. He says, I've been saying this last month, a couple months in my interviews. Diddy should have fled to Russia. What? Like, Vlad, you're too smart for this, okay? Like, this is some shit the dumb rappers you interviewed would say, right? Instead, he spent his time hanging around in Harlem and Miami. No, he spent his time trying to not look guilty and knowing he's under federal surveillance. What more could he do? He can't do anything else. Anyway, I'm glad this letter came out. Now we know all the things that clearly was being done, right? These two promise, okay. Moreover, counsel advised the government that Mr. Combs intended to travel domestically. Counsel would inform the AUSA. Me, Bradford Cohen, Myron Gaines, former HSI agent, we all predicted this. You're telling the government where you're going, right? Like, you want him to feel very comfortable, right? I heard that through sources that he's telling them anytime he's going to get on a plane. They know before he went to LA, then went to LA and he popped up some random places. They knew before he came to New York, okay? These two promises have been kept. For example, June 9th, counsel advised AUSAs that Mr. Combs was traveling from Miami to Los Angeles to go on a road trip with his children. In addition, we provided AUSA with information about the flight, when his flight departed, when it would land. On June 29th, counsel emailed the prosecutors that Mr. Combs will be flying to Wyoming. And by the way, he did go to Wyoming. People seen him White River rafting. You ever seen this? Here we go. Diddy, Wyoming. White River rafting. Right here. Boy, Diddy did it. By the way, chat, apparently we got 23,000 people watching on YouTube, only like 2K likes. Please, could you guys just hit the like button? If you guys haven't subscribed as well, please subscribe to whatever platform you're watching me on. It's greatly appreciated. I do this for y'all, clearly. But just please hit the like button, hit the follow button. That's all I ask for, okay? That looks fun. I could imagine this is a way to, you know, you got to imagine Diddy's mind is probably going absolutely bonkers, right? Like, this is the worst scenario ever. He has to, you know, have some time to, I almost bit my lip. I did actually. He has to have some time to unwind. He has to try to, like, you know, kind of, you know, distract himself a bit, because that could be very mentally tolling. And not saying we feel bad for Diddy, but if you're constantly thinking about a potential prosecution or threat of arrest for months, yeah, you know, he has to unwind. And I guess that was what that trip was. Okay, so cool. That was the Wyoming trip. Okay, cool. So he was flying to Wyoming. He told them that via a chartered aircraft. On July 5th, the council emailed the prosecutor that he was traveling back to Los Angeles. 2 days later, July 7th, when he traveled back to Miami via chartered aircraft, they once again emailed the AUSA. In addition, when Mr. Combs planned travel but did not take those trips, they notified the prosecutors as well. Okay? They notified the government of Mr. Combs' efforts to sell the plane. On May 21st, counsel advised the AUSA during a phone call that Mr. Combs had commenced efforts to sell his airplane. We followed up with that conversation the next day on May 22nd, 2024, with a letter to the AUSA that the efforts were underway to sell the aircraft, reminding the AUSAs that the counsel continued to be in possession of his passport. Over the past several months, there have been several potential buyers for the airplane, and at least 2 buyers have signed a letter of intent to purchase the aircraft. Just this weekend, a buyer for the aircraft and representatives for Mr. Combs executed a letter of intent. Due to the nature of this asset, the amount of inspection and due diligence that's required for this purchase is just not a simple asset to offload. In advance of the plane being sold, which it eventually will be, we have agreed to keep the airplane in Los Angeles while Mr. Combs resides in his home in Florida, if it's not being chartered. So again, they do chartered rentals on the plane. Coincidentally, and not at Mr. Combs' request, last night the airplane was chartered. Oh, wow. Maybe that's why he got arrested. They've been keeping the plane away from Diddy. They've been telling the government that. Like, hey, we're keeping the plane away. Remember I told you? They're tracking that fucking plane. They're tracking it, right? Diddy is in New York. The private jet location that everybody flies into is in Jersey. And all of a sudden, Diddy's plane shows up in Jersey. Yeah, I could imagine somebody says, before Diddy get on his jet, let's lock his ass up right fucking now. Maybe he's trying to, let's lock his ass up now. So this is probably why, right? So now his team is saying this is coincidentally. They're saying there was a chartered flight from Los Angeles to Teterboro. He had no advanced knowledge of the flight, nor did he possess any control over its movement last night. Obviously, Mr. Combs agrees to not go to any state, in this case, New Jersey, in which his plane is located, pending its sale, which is being actively pursued, and I get it. New Jersey is not New York, but the place that people in New York usually go to board a private jet is in New Jersey, Teterboro. It's like from Manhattan. It's, let's see, we're talking about 10, 15 minutes. So it's really in close proximity, even though technically it's not within New York State. All right, Mr. Combs voluntarily relocated to New York in advance of his arrest. Once it became apparent to counsel that Mr. Combs' arrest was imminent, he promptly relocated to New York City. On September 5th, 2024, he arrived in New York, and counsel immediately informed the government of Mr. Combs' whereabouts. By the way, here's the thing. I'll read this. It said, pursuant to the Code of Federal Regulations, a private jet may be available to the general public for use. That's about chartering. Part 135 pertains to Mr. Combs' airplane, and therefore it can be chartered by the general public. Many people who own a private jet, they'll allow other people. And by the way, this is why I look at Rick Ross's private jet, and I'm like, I don't know if people are chartering a private jet that just says Rick Ross, right? Like, it's so branded. You know, Diddy's private jet, at least, it's a distinct private jet, dark colored one, but it doesn't say Diddy. It doesn't say Diddy all over the shit. So, it would probably say, let's get another jet. So he probably was chartering, and it's probably a good way to make money. A flight, I could price it out now. A flight from LA to Teterboro, that's cross country. It's 5 hours in flight time. How much, how many people, I won't get too much into, but how many people, let me see, Diddy's jet, let me see, Love Air, what type of plane is it? It's a Gulfstream 550. I think it holds between, how many does it hold? And by the way, look, there's this website, you can literally book his jet. Browse our empty leg flights to see if, you can literally book Diddy's jet, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm pretty sure many other brokers or websites allow you to book the jet. Anyway, it's probably going to be 60,000, around 60,000, 50, 60,000. For a one way, right? So, if you want to have 8 to maybe 12 people on Diddy's jet and you want to afford the $60,000 fee, that's a one way. Now, obviously, you got to pay flight crew. Gonna probably have at least one stewardess, 2 pilots, right? Diddy gets the rest and probably a broker fee for whoever is doing the booking. But that's a way to generate some money because jets are expensive. You got to park them. You got to service them. You got to maintain them, right? So, yeah. All good. All right, cool. Then it says, council offered to continually share Mr. Combs' location. Damn. This is like when your bitch catch you cheating and you're like, yo, I'm going to share my location. All right, so they're saying that Mr. Combs was down to share his location with government constantly, right? Since arriving in New York on September 5th, Mr. Combs has been staying at the Park Hyatt Hotel. Okay, cool. I'm going to try to see if I can hit up a work over there to see if they got, one of them workers got low security footage, guaranteed. They're going to try to sell it to TMZ, but I'm going to see if we can get it from one of them. If you think there's no video of Diddy being taken into custody, you're wrong. Somebody's just trying to sell that bitch. So he was staying at the Park Hyatt Hotel. Let me Google that bitch. Let's see how that shit looking. It's a luxury 5-star hotel. I don't expect Diddy to stay in anything else. Let's look at the suites. I could imagine he was staying at the big boy. They got a presidential on here now. Where's the presidential? Oh, here we go. 1-bedroom presidential suite. If there's a 2-bedroom, I imagine that Diddy would get it. And probably the rooms that he probably stay in aren't listed on here for you to publicly book. You know what I'm saying? If we were to book it, let me see how much this is costing. Yo, I'm such a pocket watcher, right? I ain't shit, right? Oh, it don't look like you could book these ones. It says you got to call. Yeah, you got to call for this. You could book these. Let me see what the price is looking for, though. Let's look next month. A 1-night stay. Let's see what we're looking at, chat. Chat, I'm such a pocket watcher, right? I know. Pray for me, chat. What? And this is just a 1-bedroom. $2,000? $2,000? Oh, hell nah. And so if this is $2,000, the presidential is like $6,000, nigga. $7,000 for the night. Holy shit. Holy shit. Yeah. Damn. So Diddy probably shelling out $6,000-$7,000 a night for this spot. Yeah, $2,000 a night for a 1-bedroom. This is the minimum room you could get there. Look, all right, so these are the rooms. Oh, here's the suites. Here are the suites. Okay, $2,500 for a double bed suite. Let's keep going. Oh, here we go. Okay, so I don't even think the presidential is listed on here. Show more. All right, never mind this. Oh yeah, so Diddy's staying in the presidential. So yeah, $10,000 a night. Yeah, exactly. So $10,000 a night. You know Diddy staying in the president. Like, you're Diddy, my nigga. You're like, come on, bro. $10,000 a night. Fuck. God damn. Some good shit right there, brother. Let me look in this room. $10,000 a night for this shit? This shit better be. This shit got. Oh, I'm going to call Whack 100 in a second, too. I'm going to call Whack 100 in a second. You got to get Whack 100 on the line. Okay. Right, I mean, it's a suite, nice suite, but 10,000? Oh, let's do a 3D tour. Okay, here we go, chat. Ooh, okay. Chat, if you were Diddy, no pun intended, and you were going to stage one last freak off before the feds came in, which part in this presidential suite would you fucking stage the freak off at, chat? Let's get to it. Let's get to that. Ooh, nice closets. Ooh, now this is a big ass 1-bedroom. Ooh, look at the closet. I like this. Oh, that wasn't a closet. This is a room. Ooh, I like this closet. This closet looks nice. Yeah. Okay, got the mirrors in. Okay. Here's the room. Okay. Chat, where would you stage a freak off? Ooh, this goes into another place. This is another bathroom? No. This is the bathroom. This is the master bathroom. Okay. So this is the master bathroom. This is the master bedroom, I'm thinking. Okay. Got this little, almost like little vanity area. Nice little closet over here. Go over to the hallway. Now this is the living room. Nice living room. Okay. Has like a little kitchen area, right? Little kitchen area. Actually, it's a full kitchen. No, is it a full kitchen? We see a sink. Probably a microwave in one of these. There's clearly a fridge, right? I mean, shit. Chat, this is like where you would put, you know what I mean, the freak off supplies. Bottles of lube could go right here. You got to get the tons of lube all over here. Okay. I see what's going on. Okay. The last freak off, bro. God damn it. Chat, who do you invite to the last freak off? And I guess this is, this is another little entranceway. Oh, wow. And then this goes to here. Is this a closet or a connecting door? I think this is the outside of the suite. Yeah, okay. A nice little hallway. What is this connected to? Look like this is a closet, maybe like a coat closet. Okay, nice little mirror leading up here. It's pretty cool. Ooh, what type of thing is this? That's kind of nice. The feng shui is kind of good. Yeah, the energy in here, like, you know what I mean? Freak off energy. I ain't gonna lie. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. But $10,000? $10,000? Like, hold up, man. $10,000 a night. All right, the pocket watcher and me just got to. I'm sorry, chat. He was there. He was there from the 5th. So that's 12 days. That's $120,000. Yo, chat, I ain't gonna lie. I spent $120,000. I deserve a freak off. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, chat. I spent $120,000 for 12 days? I deserve a freak off. What? 120? Now, here's the thing. Look what they say. They say, due to bookings made at the Park Hyatt prior to Mr. Combs' reservation, after today, September 17th, he will no longer be able to stay at the Park Hyatt. Accordingly, he had a reservation to stay at the Carlisle Hotel starting today. Let's go over there and go pocket watch. Why do I like this so much? I'm not saying I like some weird freak off shit. I'm saying I just love seeing how much money niggas have. Like, I'm sorry. Oh, this is it. The Carlisle. This looks good. Damn, they give you like a little intro video, a drone type video. Okay. All right, let's check the rates. Let's go 16th to the 17th. Whatever, just check rates. Let's see is this 5-star? What the fuck? $3,000 a night? What? What? Yo, I love looking at shit like this. It makes me feel broke. Sometimes you need a humbling. Yes. $3,000 a night? You know we gotta find a presidential. Where's the presidential? The Central Park Suite is $5,000. The Premier 2-bedroom suite is $5,000. Now, you gotta have a presidential. It's probably not listed. A lot of times they don't list their presidential suite. You gotta call. You gotta call to go get that shit. Because that's really meant for like special people, not only people that got the money. All right, but anyway, still minimum $5,000 a night, or if we're saying he's going to stay at the best suite here, that's listed. Let me see how this place look. Maybe this is like freak off ready. This is a Central Park suite. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, this doesn't give proper freak off energy, man. How's the gigolos gonna be on this type of floor, getting their backs blown out, and Diddy's gonna be in this type of chair jerking off? Nah, this doesn't give freak off energy. The room too small. How 50 people gonna fit in this fucking bed? Hell nah. You only got 3. Nah, hell nah. Y'all only got 3 pictures? Hell nah. Let me see this one. I gotta have a little bit more. Nah, they not big on pictures with this. Nah, Diddy, this ain't gonna work. Whatever. Anyway, they're saying that he'll be staying at the Carlisle if he gets out. Since Mr. Combs relocated to New York early this month, council has been looking for a 1-month rental for Combs in New York City. Despite council's persistence, it has been challenging to find a rental for many reasons, including because numerous events occurring in New York City in September. The U.S. Open, Fashion Week, UN Summit. And some landlords have discomfort having Mr. Combs as a tenant given the investigation. Last night, council had scheduled a viewing of a potential apartment. However, because of Mr. Combs' arrest, council and Mr. Combs obviously were not available to see the rental. Combs advised the government that it was in his possession of the past. Council advised the government that it was in their possession the passports of members of Combs' family. On June 13th, council advised the government that we possess Mr. Combs' mother's passport. We also informed the government we possessed the passport of his 4 daughters, all who were minors at the time we took their passports. And wait, does Justin, Quincy, and Christian not have passports? Why are y'all only taking the daughters' passports? I don't know why that's a thing. Anyway, council's assistance to the government concerning the subpoenas. As stated above, council accepted service of 2 subpoenas directed at its businesses in March of 2024. Separate counsel for the entities filed a motion to quash the subpoena in April of 2024 and May 2024 upon becoming the sole counsel in connection with the criminal investigation of Mr. Combs. So somebody got fired or left. Actually, didn't that make news? Lady Gaga, criminal counsel, Diddy, like somebody had stopped. Yeah, Diddy was dumped by a law firm after Lady Gaga told them, if y'all represent Diddy, I'm done with y'all. Right? Look, here we go. But we don't know if that was civil. Maybe that was civil, right?
Okay, so there's been some rumors floating around about Diddy and Lady Gaga, but we have the latest update on the situation. Manhattan law firm Grubman, Shire, Mysilas, and Sachs, known for representing top figures in the music industry, has cut ties with Sean Diddy Combs. A spokesperson for the firm confirmed that the decision to part ways with Diddy was made proactively by the partners months ago.
Okay, that might be it. So it appears that Mr. Aguafilo, I might be fucking up his name, there was a co-counsel, means lawyers, and that law firm dropped out, which, by the way, if you got Lady Gaga's and them saying, yo, I'm not using you as a law firm no more if you represent Diddy. Diddy's a creep. Damn, they're putting Diddy in a vice grip. Pause. Okay, upon becoming the sole counsel for Diddy, we advised the court that we would withdraw the motion to quash the subpoena, and instead the parties would meet and confer with the government to minimize the number of requests of which the parties disagreed. Counsel agreed to begin gathering documents in response to the subpoena. For several months, counsel for Mr. Combs and the AUSAs have had a regular discussion about what documents we've had, what we didn't have, and in regards to the documents we didn't have, where the governments may be able to find such documents. We did this for 2 reasons. First, there was nothing in counsel's estimation that will constitute evidence Mr. Combs being involved in any federal crime. Second, we wanted to appropriately be helpful to the government in the investigation. To that end, the Combs entities have produced over what? Oh, my bad. I can't see it. I'm sorry. Fuck, I'm retarded. 144,000 pages. Damn, they gave the government 144 pages of documents to the SDNY, Southern District of New York, in compliance with the subpoena. Whoa. Let's take a breather, y'all. By the way, Diddy's scheduled to be in court. He probably is in court currently as he waits for the proceeding to start. We don't know if it started exactly at 2:30, but it is scheduled for 2:30. Let me quickly... I'm looking at... Still no action here. Still no action here. Sorry, chat. Still no action. Okay, we won't get action for a while. It's all good. All right. So the next thing is paying off the mortgage at 2 West Star Island in Miami. As noted in the discussion about the bail package on August 20th, 2024, Mr. Combs caused the outstanding mortgage to be paid on his primary residence in Miami. This payment of about $18 million was for one reason alone, so he would be able to have the $48 million residence free and clear of any encumbrances so that it could be used to secure a bond. We submit this truly extraordinary measure that shows resoundingly that Mr. Combs is appropriately focused on defending this case on the merits in this court, the legal standard. Mr. Combs is presumed to be innocent. The Supreme Court has observed that the liberty is the norm. Detention is prior to trial or without trial is the carefully limited exception, U.S. versus Salerno. As the Supreme Court recognizes, the function of bail is limited. Stack v. Boyle. The underlying goal is securing the presence of the defendant rather than the sum of bail. So basically saying it shouldn't be about the amount of money he could put up. It should be securing him showing up to court. U.S. versus Nabia. The court should bear in mind that there's only a limited group of offenders who should be denied bail pending trial. U.S. versus Shakur. Is this what I think it is? Shakur. Nah, that's not what I think it is. Okay, nah. Let me not bring it up. Okay. Anyway, who cares about this legal mumbo jumbo? Let me just move on. While there's a presumption of detention, so this is, I think, the biggest molehill they're gonna have to climb. I didn't know there was a presumption of detention in sex trafficking case, but apparently there is, and his own attorney is admitting that, right? So while there's a presumption of detention in sex trafficking case, this presumption is rebuttable. The presumption imposes on the defendant a burden of production while the burden of persuasion remains with the government, U.S. versus Mercedes. Although this burden is not heavy, the defendant must introduce some evidence contrary to the presumed fact, U.S. versus Rodriguez. A defendant can satisfy this burden by coming forward with evidence that he does not pose a danger to the community, or risk of flight, Even if the defendant presents some evidence satisfying his or her burden, the presumption favoring detention does not disappear entirely, but remains a factor to be considered among those weighed by the district court. The benchmark case here is blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. All right. All right, this is more mumbo jumbo here. We don't have the rest of the documents regarding or relating to the exhibits, but I'll see if I can get them. All right. Let me go here to finish playing this. Then we'll get back to law and crime, and then I'm trying to pull some more documents for y'all.
Because he's famous, and that was his way of kind of preying on these folks. But then when they realized what was going on and wanted to escape, that he used threats and intimidation. And the allegation is weapons were displayed. And so we did see some weapons. Of course, it can be legal to own weapons in the U.S., but these were high-capacity magazines or defaced serial numbers. So depending on where those weapons were possessed, that could make it illegal and kind of demonstrate the intimidation or fear that allegedly was used against these women. We definitely saw that in the Cassie video, the 2016 hotel surveillance video. And I would note that Diddy initially denied that. He said she was looking for a payday. And then when we saw that video, we know that was untrue. So he is in a very difficult spot.
Okay. Back to the law and crime video, which is here.
Distance, calendars, anyone that keeps those calendars. And what the government does is essentially they just put a story together. And those are the best cases, is that when you can put a story together where you're not relying on one individual witness, where if that witness gets crushed on the stand, your case is kind of over. What you do is you build up a case through, like I said, 5 or 10 core witnesses that all can verify what the other one is saying. Even if it's not the exact same story, it is confirmation that this is how it happened to me, or this is how this happened. Or if Cassie was present during one of the other witnesses and something happened to that other witness, they would be like, yeah, Cassie was there. And then Cassie obviously testifies, I was there.
Well, Bradford, just one follow-up question to that. The allegations from the 90s, so there have been people who have accused Sean Combs in...
By the way, we also do have the email that was sent to the government. I think I'm typing her name wrong. The email that was sent to the government essentially alerting them of Diddy going to Wyoming. Here's the letter in question. It says from, Tenny Garagos, okay, which is, obviously somebody who works at the law firm for this person. It says, "Dear all," and by the way, they sent it to the USA Department of Justice.gov, right? So this is the AUSAs and pretty much the prosecutors. "Dear all, Mr. Combs will be departing from Miami tomorrow at 6 p.m. tomorrow on his plane for Los Angeles Tuesday. He and his family will depart on their road trip. They will go to Sedona, the Grand Canyon, Lake Powell, Zion, and Death Valley." Well, what? I don't know what places these are, but okay, cool. Yeah. They were going to go to these places. We'll be in touch with his flight information back to Miami. We hope you've all had a nice weekend. So Diddy's lawyers were trying to play ball, man. They were trying to yo, we'll give you anything you want. Anything you want to make you feel comfortable. Yo, we're trying to work with you. Okay, sorry.
Lawsuits of sexual assault back in the 90s. Now, some of them are able to bring their lawsuits because of a particular law in New York that allowed people a look-back window, 1 year to file sexual assault claims. I don't know if the 90s claims are a part of this. If they would be, if something was time barred under state law, could it still be used as evidence or in a federal case?
Yeah, so it's an interesting question. The feds always have a way of bootstrapping in stuff that you feel is outside the scope or outside the statute of limitations by saying it's an ongoing criminal enterprise. And this was something that was continually going through the years, 2002, 2003. And in your head, you're like, wow, these are 20-year-old allegations. These are 25-year-old allegations. But when you're talking about an allegation that is part of an ongoing criminal enterprise, that's how they kind of bring it in. It's the same thing with co-defendants, right? If you have a co-defendant and you guys are robbing banks and you don't technically get out, you say hey, I'm out, I'm done with this, and that co-defendant continues to rob banks, they can try and say, hey, we're still looping you into all these other bank robberies because you were part of the original conspiracy. And I've seen that happen before. So it's time will tell what they will bring in, but they always bring in different allegations to show motive or to show, something else that they're saying, oh, it's not technically charged, but look, he used baby oil in this case. He used baby oil in this case. I use the example of the wet bandits from Home Alone.
Oh my God.
It's like they could have done something in 2000 where they got caught by flooding someone's house. And then in 2020, all of a sudden it's the same thing. They can say, hey, look, this is their MO. So right. A lot of ways those things come in, not necessarily as an individual charge, but as something to prove something else.
So I want to let everybody know in about 8 minutes we are anticipating this press conference, presumably held by federal authorities, but more specifically, Damian Williams, the United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York. You see a live shot outside the courthouse right there. Elizabeth Milner, our reporter, is there as well. So hopefully when that gets going, we will be able to go live. Chris, I want to go back to you on something. So in this letter, again, from from the government to the judge, presumably overseeing this part of the case, asking that there be no bail set. They talk about how Combs is a danger because he has allegedly bribed witnesses and obstructed justice. I want your thoughts on this. So it talks about the 2016 Cassandra Ventura video.